petitioner ready.
Good evening. I would like to call the Tuesday, April 12th, 2022 meeting of the Lee County Zoning Board of Appeals to order. Would you call the roll, please?
Bruce Forster,
Here.
Craig Burrow,
Here.
Mike Pratt,
Here.
Glenn Hughes,
Yes.
Rex Meyer.
Here. There are no minutes for previous, so there's no motion to pursuant to the county board's approval. So we'll start with petition number 22-P-1590 in the matter of the petition of Z-Best Enterprises. Now comes the petitioner Z-Best Enterprises, an Illinois corporation, and petitions the Lee County Board for the issuance of a special use permit. Support thereof states as follows. The petition is brought pursuant to section 10-2- or 2D-1 of the Lee County zoning ordinance. The company presently owns 7.61 acres located in Lee County, Illinois, and more particularly described as permanent parcel number 02-15-23-300-007 and 6.096 acres located in Lee County, more particularly described as permanent parcel number 02-15-26-200-005, collectively referred as to the property. The property is presently zoned industrial I-1. The company requests that, or the company respectfully requests that the company be granted a special use for the property so that the company may construct and operate a mini warehouse. The rest of it is time, place, and whatever. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Now therefore, or therefore,
I can do that, but I want you to say that it was properly done.
so notification for the petition 22P-1590 was sent by certified mail to all adjacent landowners. Posted at the property, and the zoning board agenda for this petition was displayed on the Lee County website. A legal notification for this petition was published in the Amboy News on March 16th, 2022. The required newspaper invoice and collection of certified mailing receipts have been submitted for the record. In addition to other notification requirements, the city of Amboy, whose boundaries are within 1 1/2 mile of the proposed petition, was notified. The city of Amboy has submitted their recommendation on this petition and is in your packet. A petitioner has submitted a proposed building plan, which is also enclosed in your packet.
Thank you. There's one other note on here. Therefore, petitioner Z-Best Enterprises Incorporated requests that the Lee County Board approve a map amendment by which the subject property of this petition would be zoned as industrial I-2. In accordance therewith, the petitioner asks that the Lee County Board of Appeals to consider and make favorable findings regarding the following. Any comments at the moment?
Key issue here, it appears to me, is that the request is for a special use. However, there is also a indication of a request for a map amendment. Now, that may be a Scribner's error, but we do have a conflict in that position. D, for the record, you want to address, or D or Alice, you want to address the state's attorney's position on this?
The state's attorney believes that there is a due process issue. Given the error in the petition, he feels it's more than a Scrivener error. And it is his recommendation that the board not proceed with the hearing tonight. However, he said it's ultimately up to you guys.
Any thoughts from the board?
You mentioned that it was published in the paper. Was this petition published in the paper? Verbatim.
There is no mention of that there for that other paragraph mentioned in the public notice in the paper.
There is nothing in the public notice?
About the I-2, it's all relative to special use, correct?
Okay. So in the public notice, nothing was mentioned on the I-2. So therefore, anybody that got it would assume that we were still working with the I-1. Or does it say, did you find an I-1 on here?
Just says special use.
Just specific.
I believe it's just references.
Let me.
Oh, no, it does say the present property is presently zoned I-1.
Right, that's in the beginning of the public notice, but there was no mention of I-2.
Are the 7 points listed in there?
No, after the reference to the special use and indicating that it's currently zoned I-1, it goes into the legal description on the property.
And it's a lot of legal description.
So in the certified mailings I have up here that was mailed out to adjacent property owners, this is what they were notified for.
Specifically special use. And again, it says presently zoned I-1.
But it says there's an exhibit B attached. Or is that-
And that's all the legal description of the properties.
Well, I believe Courtney said she also to the adjacent landowners gave them an actual copy of the full petition.
You're correct. And so were all the road commissioner, the road township supervisors, the board members. They were all given a copy of the actual petition.
This petition.
The 2 pages. How many adjoining landowners are there on this? You send out notice.
Do you not count it if it's across the highway? When you mean adjoining, like behind the property?
Well, then
Within the
That's
the parameter that's
yeah, they're attached. 9.
9.
Okay.
Here's, I truly believe this is a Scribner's error. I think this is just the mistake as was previously stated by the petitioner prior to the start of this meeting.
It's a copy and paste where it is.
That,
Copy and paste, I bet from there 4 on down, that's all boilerplate that's been added on.
But, and hopefully this is without either attorney here, without Ms. Kennedy or Mr. Boonstra here. I think this can be resolved, but it's difficult for me to go against the state's attorney, against our own attorneys, even though he said it's ultimately up to us. I have a real problem. On the other hand, I believe that based on what we've seen from the notice, both in the paper and to the neighbors, that this may be something that can be resolved by the attorneys without having to restart the timeline on this petition. I guess I would hope that if at this point, my preference would be to continue this to provide the attorneys an opportunity to discuss. If they can resolve it, we can address it at a later date. If they can't, then it's going to have to go to a new one. But I would at least like to give Mr. Zellhofer the opportunity to resolve this under the current basis and not have to start the process over again. If it can't be done, it can't be done. But I would like at least the opportunity. If it doesn't work, then the next meeting that we've, continued it to just gets deleted, or we just come in and say withdrawn. But at least the continuance would provide the opportunity to address this potential Scribner's error.
Any other thoughts on the board?
Surely we've had mistakes in other petitions along the way.
Not you.
No, I'm not saying recently, but I'm saying in the last 20 years.
Mike?
Sure, there's been a legal that isn't quite right, or a statement that isn't quite right. So I don't, it's too bad Charlie's against it. Otherwise, I think it should go. But Charlie, we open ourselves up down the road. That's the.
Yeah, and the other side of that is, even on a very technical thing, South Dixon Solar got sent back to the starting point. So I think if, at least in making an effort to continue this and providing Mr. Zellhofer's attorney and the state's attorney some time to discuss it and deal with the issues, or if not research it, look into the case law, at least we give them the opportunity to continue to move forward on this. This wasn't going to make it to the April board meeting anyways. So if we can continue it, we may be able to get it to the May board meeting as it normally would have. If not, then it is what it is. It's going to have to start over again.
So this was not going to the April because the April meeting's full?
Yeah, well, we're already past the deadline for getting stuff to the county board. There's a deadline for,
Is that correct?
Which is what was the deadline? I thought since we were scheduled for the 6th that we were within the deadline to still vote in the same month.
but not with the continuation. It's no different than we have with some of the ones that are multiple hearings. They may start on a particular date, but if we don't finish those hearings until a certain date, it's going to be subject. It's got to be 2 weeks before the county board meets. So this is no different. This is no different than that type of thing.
Any other comments? Rex? Craig?
I feel like it was submitted by Courtney. She signed that she submitted it, and there is an error in it. I would like to give her a chance to negotiate with Charlie and see if they can find common ground.
Okay.
And do a continuance.
So
Just to be clear, Courtney does not represent Jared in this matter, and that's why Charlie has an issue with that as well. While she prepared the petition, she's not representing him for the hearing. So, I mean, you can ask them to resolve it, but he's not. He
Okay.
doesn't have her retained for that, correct?
however, Courtney did submit it, and it does have Courtney's name on it.
Correct. I'm just letting you know.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
So effectively, she's probably the one responsible for addressing that issue anyways.
So
If it goes through.
what's that?
Well, that's also something that he and Courtney will have to negotiate.
Well, the obvious reason that Courtney wasn't going to represent me is because we thought this was what I would call reasonably straightforward. Now due to a clerical error, so this is above my pay grade to try to resolve the clerical error. So I'm sure I'll have to retain Courtney's services to fix this. But I want to understand that if the board decided to move forward against Charlie's recommendation, the concern is that if it made it to the county board for a variety of reasons, at that point, it could be,
We don't want Charlie to say foul.
Yeah, well, yeah, somebody on the county board or even, and it, as Dee said, an interested party. Doesn't even have to be somebody on the board. It could be some, and I'm being a little extreme, I guess, somebody who's got a grudge against you and says, hey, I didn't understand that. That didn't get done right. Why would you have a special use?
okay, understood.
And a map amendment.
So wouldn't we be right back in this, if that scenario played out, wouldn't I be right back in the same position where I have to turn around and refile anyway? So
Yeah, but you'd actually probably be out at least another month or more, because if it doesn't happen until it gets to the county board level, that's not going to be until May.
So if somebody raised an objection at the May County Board level, then who decide, the county board decides what the outcome is of the objection?
No,
I think
that
it goes to de novo review process
Yeah.
with the court.
goes to a review process with the court.
So
And then
my suggestion would be that we adjourn this meeting, or not this meeting, not even adjourn it, continue this petition till the May 5th meeting, so that we know whether it gets resolved, so that we know whether we're going to listen to it the way we think it should be listened to. And then if it passes at the May 5th meeting, then it would go before the full county board for their meeting in
So
May.
still May, regardless is
Yes,
May.
It's still May
And-
either way.
And worst case scenario, in that amount of time, we can make the determination if I need to withdraw on May 6th or 5th.
Well, probably before that, if you hire Courtney and Charlie are going to make a decision prior to that, which if they say that it's got to be withdrawn, then at least you've got you're ahead
Right.
of time.
But I still have to show up on the 5th regardless to either withdraw or continue, right?
No, you could make, if you were going to withdraw, you could make a call to D and
But the other part is, right now, you're too late to file a new petition for the
May.
5th of May.
Right now, if this is not continued, it would be June.
Be June. Okay,
Did I say that wrong? I thought I said that on the May 5th, it would either continue or be withdrawn, right?
Well-
But not a new petition.
yeah, not a new
Yeah.
petition. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're trying to do, is keep you from putting you, if it's can be reasonably resolved, then we don't put you a month or 45 days or whatever
So
out.
we're talking about continuing this, allowing Charlie and Courtney to argue it out, or I should say debate, whatever.
correct.
And then make a decision from there. That's what you're recommending?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know if I really see any other option at this point.
We're not sure we see another option either. We're trying to give you the best option.
The only other option is for us to go against the state's attorney.
Yeah, which sounds like from what I'm hearing is there's not a lot of,
There's not necessarily a lot of upside to it,
Well, yeah.
other than we might expedite your time frame.
yeah.
So,
I think that's probably the only course and I have no objections to continuing this till the May 5th and let Courtney and Charlie discuss it.
okay. So the question is, can we have a motion to continue this meeting until May 5th?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Sorry.
Is this the whole meeting we're continuing or just this petition?
This is really the only.
This is the only
petition
thing on this
meeting where we're at tonight.
That's it. Okay.
So, any other questions? Any comments? All in favor of continuing this meeting till the 5th of May? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Continued on till May 5th.
I know it feels like it's a waste of time.
The one thing you didn't mention was that there's a time change or something. Is that right?
It'll be the 7 o'clock
7 o'clock?
due to farmers.
Understood.
No, I agree.
See, that'd make it worse. If three of us
Motion to
did show
recess
up, then
or-
there's no meeting. We got-
Motion to recess
yeah, we gotta
the
replace
hearing
most of the forms.
to continue to make the,
No, I know. I didn't
so then
know.
we still have to recess the hearing, the meeting for the night. At the end,
Everything.
recess.
Petition.
But we need a motion to recess.
Okay, now we need
No, 3 days.
one more thing.
I motion to recess this meeting until May 5th.
Do we have a second?
Or no, actually, yeah, because we're got two other things on the continuation until tomorrow night, May 3rd, or April 13th.
So we're recessing this petition and this meeting till tomorrow night.
No, this meeting,
This meeting.
No, we're meeting Thursday night, aren't we?
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow,
Today's Tuesday. We
Yep.
meet Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Thursday. All right.
Second,
We have a second.
I second it.
Oh,
I'm still. good.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to recess this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
That goofy continuing and recess.